Hey guys, Todd here with Great Escape Farms. I have in front of me several baby goji berry plants coming up here. The reason I'm doing babies is my big plant is not doing too well right now. I think I've been taking too many cuttings off of it. So I need to lay off of that for a little while, let it get healthy. So what I'm going to do is take a couple cuttings off the babies here. So goji berry is known as Lycium barbarum, and it's also known as wolfberry. It has purple flowers in the spring and early summer, followed by bright orange-red berries in the late summer into the fall. It is a member of the nightshade family, which also includes tomatoes, potatoes, peppers, and eggplant. It is a woody deciduous perennial that grows in zones 5 through 9, and it grows 3 to 5 feet in height with long arching stems. It has edible fruits, which are high in antioxidants, and you can do more research online to figure out exactly what antioxidants and everything it has. So what we are going to do is take this right here, which is definitely going to be very, very soft wood. It's still a little green, might even be a little too immature to cut, but I'll just show you what's done. If you notice, there's one right here in front of it. That one has been cut. I actually have a couple of rows of nightshade, a couple of rows of goji berry that I planted because these are growing in an area I don't want them. They've kind of spread from seed. So I cut this back and used its top part for propagation, and then the plan is to dig this one up and put it into a pot. I just haven't got around to that yet, and since then I have other plants that are coming up here. So I'm going to go ahead and take this plant right here, take a cutting from it, and we'll go over to the table where I've been doing the propagation stuff, and I'll show you what the next step is. Hey guys, quick sidebar here on tools. So you can use whatever tool you want, a pair of scissors, a sharp knife, a pair of cutters like I have here, just trimmers. What you want is something that's very, very sharp that will cut without bruising the cambium of the wood that you're cutting. So the cambium is the soft part where the water goes up. You don't want to bruise that, you want to actually cut that. So make sure your tools are very sharp, whatever you're using. Also make sure they're clean. So I clean mine after every type of plant I do. So if I'm doing Adam's elderberry, before I move to a John's elderberry, I'll clean it. I may do 100 cuts on an Adam's elderberry, and I'll only clean it the first time before I do it. And then before I move on to a John's or a Nova elderberry, I will go ahead and clean it again. So I'm grabbing these just out of the shed. I can't remember if I cleaned it last time, so I'm going to start off by cleaning. The way that I'm going to clean is I'm just going to take some regular hand sanitizer here, whatever type you are into, and put a couple squirts on a paper towel. And by that, next I'm just going to rub it on the tool all along here. And I'm not so much worried about getting dirt off as I am worried about killing any fungus or bacteria or any kind of disease that would spread from plant to plant. So I want to make sure, and this hand sanitizer will kill any of that stuff. So all I need to do is rub it on the whole area, go ahead and wipe it off, and then we are good to go. So okay guys, I'm here to make up the rooting hormone solution for this section of the video. So I use the Dip and Grow liquid rooting hormone solution. That's a picture of what it looks like. You open it up and there's all kinds of warnings on it saying not to get it on your skin and everything. If you have sensitive skin, you might want to use rubber gloves. In here it does talk about different dosages to use, which is why I like the liquid stuff. So for hardwood cuttings, you use a 1:5 ratio. For medium softwood cuttings, you use a 10:1 ratio, and for softwood cuttings, you use a 20:1 ratio. So I am working with softwood cuttings here, so I am going to mix 20:1. I actually measured this out earlier, so for me it's a 1.5 cups of this solution in this particular container here, mixed with water, and then I fill it up 3/4, or I fill it up 3/4 with water. So I'm going to go ahead and mix that up real quick. So there's 1 cap, and then about a half, and then I'm going to fill this 3/4 of the way up with water, and that's about 3/4. And now my rooting hormone is ready to go. Okay, so we have the goji plant here. What we're going to do is take 4 nodes or internodes, where the leaves connect up here. Take 4 to 6 of those, so we're going to take 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, basically count up 5 leaves and cut off. So we have 5 leaves here, and what we're going to do is from the top, grab the 3 leaves and just kind of pull down on it, leaving 2 leaves. So what we end up with is a plant with 2 leaves there, and that's what we're actually going to end up planting or propagating here. So we take it from here, dip it into the rooting hormone that we just talked about, hold it in there for about 5 seconds, shake it off, and at this point it's ready to go into the mist irrigation bed. So we'll talk about the mist irrigation bed next, and then we'll go ahead and we'll put these into the ground. So this is my mist irrigation bed here. I have 2 nozzles here, one here and one right there, 2 mist nozzles, and they're going to come on in just a few seconds. There we go. You can see they are on, so they're both on right now, and they're overlapping one another, and what they're doing is they're just spraying a fine mist down on the plants here, and they come on once every 5 minutes for 10 seconds, and you can see the water kind of dripping off of the leaves here. And I have it set up to come on at 6 a.m. and to shut off at 9 p.m. So it's not running during the night, only during the heat of the day, and that's to prevent transpiration and to keep the water, keep the leaves moist so that they don't burn or anything, and that way they will have something with photosynthesis to actually allow it to make roots. So that's the mist part here. When I'm actually planting in a couple of minutes, I'll shut these down because I'm going to have the iPhone real close. I don't want to soak yet. A couple other things. So I have a document right here, and it has numbers on the side, over here on the row, on the far left-hand side. And you see it says row 2, 4, 6, 8. And row 2 is John's elderberry, row 4 is non-applicable, row 6 is Adam's elderberry. Nothing on row 8 yet, but that's where I'm going to be putting the Illinois everbearing mulberry that I have. And then you'll notice that in row 14 I also have Illinois everbearing mulberry. I took some earlier in the year, but they're not doing so well, so I wanted to wait and take some a little bit later in the year. So what I do is I put down a tape measure from the end. Row 2 is at 2-inch mark, row 4 is at 4, and there's nothing there. Row 6 is where my elderberry is, row 8 is where the mulberry will be. And you can see I'm right on top. What I do is I put a piece of wood, a piece of bamboo that came in with a plant here, and that allows me to keep my row straight. So I will have all the rows in here, and make sure that you document. So on my document here, I have the quantity that I planted, and in the notes section, I have little notes here. So I have an A on that one, I have a B on that one, and I put down here when I planted it, and well, let's see, for A, I used powdered rooting hormone, and for row B, I still need to mark it, but I use liquid rooting hormone there. Today will be row C, because I am in August, and I'll have a different day. So I will put the date planted and the fact that I'm using liquid rooting hormone there. So real quick, let me talk about the rest of the mist system irrigation bed here. So the mist heads, they're DRAM, D-R-A-M-M mist heads that feed into a 1-inch PVC pipe here, which goes into a, let's see, a lawn sprinkler here. This runs into an electric wire, which I have back in my shed back there, and that has a Galcon 8056 ACS, I think it is, programmable sprinkler valve that shuts these on and off. And like I said, it's on from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. for every 5 minutes. It comes on for 10 seconds at a time. So that's how it comes on and off, is with the timer. My input is right here, and I have another piece going off to the side that's for future use. Right now it's just dead-ended and not used. And I go into a water filter here. This water filter is designed to remove any chlorine and stuff like that. So I'm giving it straight filtered water at least, and I'm just coming out of a garden hose there. Okay, we have the goji berry here with 2 leaves and the stem going down. We have 3 internodes that are going to go in the ground. We'll take, and what I did is I measured out and I put a stick here going across, so I make a straight line. I start in the center and I work out so I can make sure that they're evenly spaced. They'll be spaced about 1 inch apart because they don't root too much, and they'll be easy enough to get out. and they go in the ground about 1 inch to 1.5 inches, and you just push it down, and you keep adding more and more as you come across here. And that is how you propagate goji berries. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel, or go to greatescapefarms.com and consider subscribing to our email list. With our email list, we let you know when we put out new videos, new blog posts, and sales on our plants at Great Escape Nursery. Thank you very much for tuning in, and have a great day.